Hopefully, thumbs up. Y'all can hear me okay? Perfect. Perfect. Well, guys, I really appreciate everyone's time, and whoever is in a loud area, if you can mute for us, that'd be great. And that way, for people who can't be on, it's a good, clean recording, so they can go back to it later, and everyone can hear us okay. So, well, first off, I just want to say thank y'all so much for making time to be here tonight. I know there is literally no good time in the month of December to connect with the Gulf Coast events team, because you guys are killing the game, leading the nation in the malls. And just really putting everyone else to shame. So I appreciate it. I know it's not easy to do. It's not easy to pull off, and I don't take your time lightly. So we'll roll through this pretty quick, or as quick as we can, and we'll still take the time that we need. Hey, Matt, if you don't mind muting, it sounds like you might be on the road. That would be awesome. All right. Well, guys, again, I think you all know me. I am Brian Carter. The ADVM up in Texoma, a little bit north of you guys, the district manager in Dallas, but I'm also one of the coordinators of course, for TGP events. And so I wanted to get a chance to connect with y'all here today, to connect with the Gulf Coast team, just to talk about some cool stuff with the Houston Stock Show and Rodeo, just some positive changes that are happening. I want to make sure everyone's in the loop, and just talk about how we feel it's going to be such a great event going into 2020, that's for sure. What some of you guys may not know is that I was pretty heavily involved in the planning phase of the rodeo this year. Cody came to me pretty early on, and got a chance to kind of pick my brain. And Lloyd asked me to consult on it. And even though I wasn't working the event, I appreciate the invite that Jonathan and Cody and your team graciously extended. It just didn't work with my schedule for me to actually get shifts at the show. But I did work as hard as I could behind the scenes, just to make sure that things are set up in a way from a policy standpoint that protected your whole team, to try and bring as many best practices as we could for transfers and the training process, and some of the things that we've learned over the years with the State Fair of Texas, trying to make sure that the booth, utilizing the unique display that y'all had, that at least we had a heavy focus on just usability and to make it as functional as possible. So I appreciate the very open door that Cody and James and Jonathan really allowed me to speak very freely and just try to offer my counsel and advice. And hopefully some of it was helpful. Maybe yes, maybe no, but either way, I'm really grateful that they trusted me enough to get a chance to speak a little bit into that. And so, even though I didn't get the opportunity, like I said, to work the event with y'all last year, boy, I was living on the sidelines with y'all, that's for sure. And I was celebrating all the wins. I was feeling all the blows that inevitably come from tackling a really, really big challenge. And I've got to say that I was so impressed, and I'm so proud to watch the bold moves that you guys made to pull the event off last year, and just stepping up to challenges like that with so much enthusiasm. It's so easy to say, well, it's a big show and there's millions of people, and of course we're going to do it. But it's easy to say that, but when you actually do the math and you do the numbers and you look at the metrics, that's a big thing to step into, especially when you don't have other events that are quite on that level as far as cost or just population density. And so I was really impressed with just the steps that the team took to really execute that event to the best of everyone's ability, and it was a really inspiring thing to see. And I think that all of you guys would agree, for everyone who worked it last year, there were some things that went really, really well that were exciting. We want to build off that. There were also some challenges and just some issues that maybe some of them could be headed off, maybe not. But either way, there's definitely some areas we want to continue to improve and grow going into year 2 of the Houston Stock Show and Rodeo project. But I just want you guys to know that everyone on the outside looking in is so proud of the work that y'all put in to pulling it off, and pulling it off as well as you did. That's for sure. Well, this year, Lloyd came to me pretty early on, and just seeing how big this event was and the costs associated with it came to me pretty early on, and kind of like last year, asked me to consult, and actually the Gulf Coast team had reached out to Curtis to really be much more involved. Curtis also asked for my participation, just because of the experience that I have working the number of large events and state fairs. And so ultimately, when all was said and done, I've been asked to step in as kind of the primary coordinator for the event this year, and get a chance to work with your team in partnership with the guests and other people coming in, and just get a chance to hopefully continue the great foundation that you guys laid in 2019 and do it in a way that's going to really enhance your team, that's going to enhance the event, and that's going to just dump a mountain of sales in the Gulf Coast division. I think most of you guys, you know me as the guy on the stage, and maybe you know me as the guy with the net meeting or the guy who never shuts up. These are all accurate descriptions of me. Roger especially knows that last one. Okay, but the reality is, one of the things you may not know about me is that I think my biggest strength as a manager, the best things I've ever done as a district manager, the best things I've ever done as a coordinator, is all about collaboration. It's all just about establishing really good teams of people and just trying to create systems where people can dominate their space and they can just perform at their highest level. Not because of anything I did to make them great, but we just streamlined it enough that you can focus on the things that you have that individual genius in. And I think that if I'm good at anything, that's what I'm good at. This last year, I managed and coordinated 4 different shows that perform over $100,000 per event. And so, the size and scope of this, as big as it is, this is something that I'm pretty used to, but it's definitely not something that I could ever do by myself. And so what I'm most excited about is not for me to have any higher level of involvement. I mean, that's cool. I'm appreciative. I'm grateful for, the team and Lloyd and people reaching out, but I'm way more excited about the team of leaders that we have established to help make this the best event possible. And so even though, at the end of the day, I was asked to step in, this is not the Brian show. The event is going to be coordinated and managed by myself. It's going to be managed by the great Curtis JQs, who came in last year and just killed it. It's going to be managed by Jonathan Schmidt, your fearless leader, and it's going to be managed by Josh Muller. And so you guys are getting the benefit and the experience of 4 of the most seasoned coordinators in the entire company. And that's what I'm most excited about. We're all going to get a chance to really play to our strengths and create some great systems and structure that I know is going to make this a better and more positive experience for every single person involved, whether it's local people in GCK or it's guests that are getting a chance to come in from around the region or even around the nation. So I wanted to share with you guys here just a couple of the key areas and focuses, because I want you to hear from me and from Jonathan and from Curtis, and I'll even speak for Josh here. But I wanted you to just hear that, we see the challenges, but we also see the opportunity you guys do too. And we really think that we've come up with some pretty great answers along the way. And so there's kind of 3 main areas that we've been heavily focused on. The first one is the cost. There's no way around it. This is not a surprise. You guys, this is an expensive event. The sponsorship is expensive. And what's up, man? I love seeing a come in. Yeah, but guys, the cost, it is what it is. I mean, there's no way around that. And but that being said, we definitely have found some areas where we're going to be able to implement some better cost control. We're going to work our ass off to try and keep these shift costs as low as we possibly can. I can't honestly guarantee, for those who worked it last year, I can't guarantee it's going to be cheaper than last year. But I promise you it won't be more. That's for sure. And we're going to do our best to try and drive that cost down. The reality is, in addition to the sponsorship cost, the event still owes Cutco the full $50,000 that Cutco loaned your team to create that first booth. So the booth, the big, beautiful booth, and the barrels and the display cases and all that sexy stuff, that was not cheap. It cost $50,000 all told. And God bless our beautiful company. They did front the money for the construction of that. But unfortunately, we just didn't quite have the right systems in place this last year to really pay down that debt in any significant way. And so kind of where we're at now is that that's something that has to be tackled and taken care of. And so that was one of the areas where I've been able to step in. I've had some good conversations to try and get that negotiated down in a way that will hopefully be fair to everyone involved and not drive the price up on shifts or anything like that. That's one thing I'm very excited about, is we're going to be able to keep it at worst the same as last year, but I think there's a good chance we can make it even better. So the reality is, I think long term, with the second booth that has been added, and we'll touch on that here in just a second, but yes, there is a second booth in case some of you don't know that. Long term, that's going to help implement much better cost control. But for this 1 year, the reality is, with the repayment of the booth costs, with just clearing that debt, and also with trying to make sure we're protecting the opportunity for each and every one of you that's working. We want to make sure we're staffing appropriately, but not overstaffing. We don't want to limit your opportunities. And so, it'd be great just to say, hey, if we had 6 last year, we'll have 12 this year. And of course we will. But it's not as simple as that. The booths aren't the same size. It's not the same area. It's not the same traffic flow. So we're going to be aggressive on our staffing for sure. That's going to help keep costs in a really good place. But we're going to prioritize going into this, making sure that every shift any one of you guys step in there, that you have an exciting and great and legitimate opportunity to go out there and really, really kill it. So I'm fired up for that. The second challenge, obviously, is the no knives. And that's something that last year, obviously it's been done before. There's other shows that have done that, but nothing on the scale that you guys were trying to pull off and that you did pull off. And so that's an exciting thing. And I know you guys learned a lot. Curtis obviously was just, he's the guy that really cracked the code. Like if you actually look last year, Curtis profited more than anyone else working the event by far. And that was while working a lot of shifts. And that's just because, he got the tone, he got the tenor, he got it to a really great place. And so Curtis is actually designing the training program that we're going to have in place this year. We'll have a series of calls. We're going to have an all-day meeting. We're going to be able to role play, control for skill, and get a chance to really support each other and learning this at the highest level. And, this could be the future of all booth sales for Cutco. And we're going to be on the front line of this. But we're not going to leave anything to chance. We're committed to having the scripts even more refined, to having better training tools and resources available to you guys. To that end, I'm personally flying out to Denver at the beginning of January. Schmitty might be joining me too, just depending on what day we end up on. I actually have a small update on that, Jonathan. We can connect tomorrow or after the call. It's not a big deal. But we're going to fly out there because we don't want to wait. We talked about YEB. We talked about the net meeting, connecting with Curtis to actually document his scripts and his process and create the role-playing and training video content that, we blast out at TGP. I don't want to wait. I want you guys to have access to that sooner. So I'm going to fly out. This is not a rodeo expense, just so y'all know. This isn't costing your team a dime. I'm just going to go out there and do it. Curtis is going to spend the time, and I'm going to throw some money at Southwest Airlines. And so that way we're going to have some training tools for you guys as early as possible. And it's a small thing, but I also know because of how assertive and bold and confidently y'all moved last year, I really feel confident working with your team that if we give you guys the right tools and we give you access to what you need at the very beginning of this thing, I know you guys are going to do the right things with it. I believe in your team. I know that you will. So I think we have a really good plan to continue progressing with that. One of the other things we're going to do this year, we're also trying to think what are some simple ways that we can even enhance the stations within their rules. I've got a pile of vegetable peelers. We're going to melt some damn vegetable peelers. And so when we talk about the guarantee, in the booth, I love pulling out a just fucked up, pardon my language, it's recorded, but I meant what I said, fucked up knife. And I love to show that to highlight the guarantee. Well, we're going to have some damaged cut code at every single station this year. It's a simple thing, but it's great to be able to pull that out and just go, yeah, this is an example where the company just replaced this for free. So we're going to, again, just incremental stuff, but we're going to add some things to it to make it easier to paint a picture with customers. We're going to make sure the scripts are really hitting the emotional beats that help get people to yes in that setting. When the fact is that even though people aren't using the knives, guys, they're not sleeping on the mattress either. They're not doing a spin in the hot tub either before they spend, $11,000 on that. They're not spending, they're not doing a lap in the Polaris before they spend 22 grand there either. So it's really not weird unless we make it weird. And I think we're going to go in with a whole different kind of confidence because of the training program and the better scripts and tools that we have. So I feel really, really bullish about what we're going to be able to pull off there. That's for sure. Okay. The last big challenge though is staffing. Okay. You guys have a great team there. That's for sure. And we had amazing guests last year. We're really hoping we get a chance to work with all those guests again this year. That's for sure. It's very much an open invitation to that. And the flip side is we're certainly prepared to bring in more great people as well, as long as we think they're the right fit for the team and the culture that we're assembling for this really, really premier event. But with the second booth that's been added, it's going to be a great opportunity for more people, more shifts. But, the reality is when you're staffing 150 shifts or even more than that in a 21 day window, it's a lot of bodies. It's definitely a thing. And so the reality is at that price point, people have to be performing at a certain level to protect their profitability and to maximize sales at the event. And so we've got to have sales standards in place. This is in line with Epcot, the Big E, the LA County Fair, the Iowa State Fair, the State Fair of Texas, every major event. We want to set up the right systems to where every single person that is interested in participating in this event can earn the right, can have clear standards laid out, and you guys can earn the right to access shifts at a level that's going to be in line with just where you're at in your business and where you're at in your finances. Because what we don't want is for people to get buried in charges. I know what it's like. And by the way, I take, as a rule, I take all my charges one week. I always take them paid in full every single time. Because for me, $1,000 a week forever just drives me crazy. $500 a week forever drives me crazy. $200 a week drives me crazy. I always do that because I'd rather feel the debt and feel the pain, and it forces my ass to work harder the next week or two to clear that. So I'm not saying this to big time. That's just my philosophy. Yours can be different. But at the State Fair of Texas, I know what it's like having $6,000 hit your account in one beat, and that makes the heart skip a beat. But the thing is, when we do this the right way, that's not an expense; it's an investment. And our goal across the coordinators, across Curtis, across me, across Jonathan, across Muller, our goal is 100% profitability for everyone working this show. That is like our mantra. That's our guiding light. Every decision we're making right now, as far as like where do we spend money on, we got to invest in a smart way. We're not going to hold back, and nickel is not going to hold up $1 at an event this size. But at the same time, we're holding ourselves to a really high standard of accountability to say, is this going to serve the team? And that's why even when it comes to the supplies for booth 2, the rodeo contractually could have held us to having the exact same booth that we had in booth 1. And just so you guys know, the company was not going to front that money. And so we would have backed ourselves into a corner with that second booth. So that's an area where I was able to step in and get, a more traditional display approved for booth 2. We're providing that from Texoma. We're providing the backdrops and everything else. And that's not going to cost the team a dime. So that's just the kind of area where we're really taking seriously the call to just maximize profitability for the team by sharing as many resources as we possibly can in a really smart way. So that's why I said I don't want to overpromise and under-deliver. I'm just going to tell everyone, plan on it being about what it was last year. It's $1,200 a shift. It's a big boy show. And if that throws someone off, that's okay. No one has to work it. Trust me, we're going to staff this thing. But we definitely want you in it. As long as you've qualified and you hit the standards, we want you there. That's for damn sure. But just the same, if we do the right things, I think we get that cost even lower. But what I can promise you is with the data we'll have on the 2 booths, on the traffic flow, we'll know what year 2 looks like in booth 1. We'll know what the hours and the expectations we should have for that second booth in the arena. And the fact we'll have already cleared the debt. This is going to put us in such a better position going forward. And that's the thing, part of doing the big, bold moves. It's kind of like when our team, we spent 20 grand on the deluxe booths a year or so ago. When you make the big, bold moves like that, you do feel the sting for a bit, but you do it for a reason. You do it for the long-term opportunity that it's creating. And that's what we want to focus on right now. So we are going to hold that line, 100% profitability for every single person that's working this event. That's for damn sure. But at the same time, man, I'm telling you, if we stick the landing this year, 2020 is going to be amazing. 2021 is going to be dirty. I mean, it's going to be dirty. And everything past that, we're just setting the course for this thing to be $1 million event. And honestly, guys, I don't think I'm a positive person. I try not to be a negative person, but I'm always going to shoot straight with you. I'm not going to throw out some $1 million goal on year 2 of an event like this. It's just not smart. It's not where we're at. But what I can tell you is that if we all maximize the opportunity we have, there's no reason why this single show should not represent, literally this just the increase in this show alone could be the growth in the Southwest region for the next year. I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I say that, on when you're performing at the level we are as a region, plus or minus a couple $100,000, believe it or not, sometimes that is the margin. And so I can tell you, we're going to make our stamp on this thing, and it's going to impact all of your businesses, and it's going to impact the division in a really, really positive way. So when it comes down to it, though, we're going to be starting to send out invitations next week. Me and Jonathan have already been working on the list and really paring that down, just to make sure we get a chance to get things done the right way. Guys, we have a chance to create a uniquely special event with the Houston Stock Show and Rodeo together if we just really commit to doing things the right way. Like I said, we want to build on the foundation of some things that were done so expertly last year. We also want to let go of a couple things that could have been done a little bit better. And that's not a reflection on anything. There's no ego in any of this for anyone. But that's just where we've got to be adaptable. And no one knows that more than me. Because of how long I've been the coordinator, I've had so many directions that I've taken the team, and I thought I was moving the right way. And it's not until you have time and reflection that I realized, occasionally I zigged when I should have zagged. And that has to be okay. Like, we can't just say, hey, what we've done is what we always should do if what we did in the past wasn't the best version of ourselves or the best version of the event. And so I'm just going to ask that everyone be really open-minded, be really communicative. I think the experience for most everyone is just going to be kind of like last year, except even smoother and better. That's really the goal. I'm going to make you do more detailed stats. That's for damn sure. You better believe that. Okay, I'll gripe at your butt if you're late. Like, that ain't going to fly. But for the most part, I think it's just going to be an easier event for everyone's work because of the preparation that's going to go into it. That's for sure. So we want to invite all of you to be part of this. I want that. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Every single person want to be a part of this process, even if every single person on the Coast team isn't eligible to work shifts at this show. Guys, I got to be real with you. Anytime you're stepping into a booth where your break-even point is $2,400, I'll say that to you, but expect numbers. Just numbers. If you look at based on the stats we have from every other big event in the nation, if we don't think where someone's at in the business is trending in the right way, we're going to be profitable. We can't do that to you. We can't let you do that to yourself. That's for sure. So we can't do it to the event either, because that's part of our responsibility is maximizing sales at this event. But I do want you to know that even if there's some of you that just aren't quite at a level to actually work this son of a gun yet, that's okay. I can't stress enough how valuable it's going to be part of this process. The big growth and increase we had in Texoma. Every year we would do the fair. We would do this big project where we invested this time and training, and we got in this zone. But the problem was everyone gets on this high, and we couldn't quite capture it. And I would watch this from the sidelines. I would watch it evaporate, how sharp people got, how good they got. It's like you guys in the malls right now. Y'all performing at such a high level. There should be this halo effect where all your averages after this are higher. Like, every shift average should be higher after this time of year for y'all. Every show should have better performance after this time of year you guys are in. This is the crucible for your team, just like the fair is for mine. But for years, that didn't happen in Texoma. We weren't getting that. And it's because we didn't quite have the systems in place. We weren't quite able to identify what were the things that were moving the needle. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm really confident we're going to be able to bring. And it's going to really help build up the team in just such an exciting way. So just so you guys know, everything will be the same. Everyone there that sells for Gulf Coast has for Gulf Coast. Anyone that comes in as a guest, it's 50-50 split. We'll do this just like every other big show. We're going to be the example for how to do this in a truly a regional or even a national way. So when it comes down to like the standards, what does it take to actually be a part of it? First off, people have to participate in the training that we have. With the invitation, we'll have the dates that'll be sent out, but we'll have 2 calls and an all-day meeting. And the all-day meeting is intense. It's going to be awesome, though. And that's where we're going to get a chance to be in the same space and time. We're going to draw for skill, and we're going to get you those dates here literally within the next couple days so that way you can mark it on your calendar. With TGP and the State Fair of Texas, all of our state fairs, in fact, if someone isn't at the meeting, they forfeit all their shifts. Doesn't matter. We make people fly in from all over the nation. And guess what? For Houston, we're going to do the exact same thing. So wherever the meeting is, if you're going to be a part of this, we expect you to be there. We'll give you plenty of notice. If you have to move some stuff around, great. That's why we'll give you plenty of notice. I've already moved some things around myself. The other big thing is the sales standards. Guys, we know from last year's data plus data from the State Fair of Texas, from the LA County Fair, that people who have more career sales, people who are more consistently in the booth, like people who are consistently working shows, federal bases, malls, just in that sales setting, and people that are having higher annual sales produce significantly higher averages. And when I say significantly, here's what I can tell you. We have 3 different levels people can kind of qualify for the State Fair of Texas. And the people on the lowest level, the ones that are just right on the bubble, but we do let in, their averages this last year were 1/5 of people at the top 2 levels. Okay. And you just got to understand that they're still paying the same amount to be there. And so we're losing out on sales for the event. And we're really, what that means is that from a management standpoint, we put people in there that just weren't quite prepared yet. They weren't there in their business. And that's not a reflection on them. It's just a matter of timing. You know, Calvin Lopez worked his ass off his first year that he would have been eligible to work the State Fair of Texas. And he came all the way down to the wire, and he missed qualifying by $800. Like literally, like a problem order is what stopped him from working it. And so there was a lot of pressure on us. And by the way, Calvin is literally in my office. He started under me. There's a lot of pressure under us to say, yeah, but you just got to do it. We just got to put him in. He's worked so hard towards this. We need him. He's local. But we didn't do it. We held the line and we said, no, we can't do that. It's an integrity thing. Like, we know what the numbers say, and we're not going to do that. But we invited him to still be a part of the entire process. He was there for every single meeting. He was there for the training. He had a seat at that table as an equal, and he field trained at the event. And then what was amazing was how his sales skyrocketed throughout the spring campaign. And of course, ever since then, it's no looking back. And so I just want you guys to know, number one, we're prepared to hold that same standard. You know, if people don't qualify, they don't qualify. And we don't want that to happen, but if that's what happens, that's what happens. And we're going to hold the line because that's an integrity thing. We have to protect you, and we have to protect the event. But at the same time, I just want you to know that whatever level you fall at in there, be a part of this, man. Hell, even if you're at the top level, but your schedule just doesn't even allow you to work shifts at the rodeo, all right, great. I'll still tell you, be a part of this event, be a part of the training, earn the right to get the opportunity to, be on ROR and do all that other stuff. Like, be an active participant in your team, because it's going to make such a huge, huge difference. That's for sure. So when it comes down to it, as far as the standards that we have, it's pretty simple. For the people at the highest level of the team, people who are over 200K in sales annually and working at least 20 events a year, the reality is they're uncapped. I mean, pretty much tell me how many days you want to work, and I'm going to do my best to get you that many days. And so, at that point, it really just becomes more about kind of your schedule and just how the rotation falls when we go through and start picking shifts. So that part's pretty simple. For people that are between 125 and 200K for the year, or people that have worked or people who work less than 20 events a year, you're eligible to work, that's for sure, but you'll have a cap on how many shifts you'll have access to. Now, it may be a non-issue. Not everyone's trying to work 7 or 10 days at an event, but once we actually see how many people have qualified, we'll determine what that cap will be. But we definitely want you in. We want your participation. We want your talents and your time, and it's going to be worth it for you. You're going to get great quality shifts, but at the same time, you will not have access to as many as like Jonathan will, as an example, because again, he's working consistently in the field. He's got high career sales, and he's generating at least 200K in sales a year. Those are the benchmarks that we know for a fact move the needle the biggest way. And then the last one is for people that are between 75K to 125K. Guys, that's going to be basically the alternates. And I can't guarantee you how many shifts you're going to get. It's going to just be based on how the calendar falls. What I will tell you, though, is that people that are in that category, in that grouping, even if you don't end up with the most amount of shifts, you are more likely to actually get shifts on the busiest days. There's a lot of reasons why that don't really matter right this second, but we don't have the same number of shifts every single day. And if we have Kareem coming in from Hawaii, Kareem's not coming in to work one random Saturday or one random Wednesday when Brooks and Dunn are there, if you're following me on that. He's kind of there, and he's going to work the time that he's there. So the days where we have to add additional shifts based off who's performing that day or just what kind of like events or specials they have going on, it's more likely that actually a local or an alternate is going to end up filling that spot. So even if they don't have as many shifts, the reality is those are probably going to be more high dollar shifts. You're not paying more, but you're really going to get more in return for them. So it's something we still want you to be excited about, but I got to be fair. I'm not going to overpromise. The reality is we're going to go through the rotations and try to fill it with people that are above that 125 number before we do get down into that. And so let that be your challenge here for the next 2 weeks. Some of you guys might be at 105, 110, even 120 grand. Let that be an extra little goal you share with your customers. Send out that extra text, do that extra, work with your catalog programs or your follow-up because it's going to be worth it. That's for sure. Okay. So those will be the standards that we'll hold people to. And when we reach out with the invitation, we'll start to get the dates that people are available to work, and we'll start assigning those days and really banging this thing out. So again, guys, I just want to make sure you understand the goal is never to exclude anyone, particularly anyone from Gulf Coast. Rather, we want to give everyone the chance to earn the opportunity to be as active as they choose to be, but at the same time, to protect your investment, your profitability, and to maximize sales at the event. You got to be performing at a high level. You need to be kicking ass in the booth, and you need to be active, okay? Because if you're not either of those two things, then it's going to be a hard sell. Now, when I say 20 events, what I mean, like, if you're working 3 weekends at a mall, that's 3 events, okay? So, like, let's be realistic about that. But, guys, even as a district manager, I did that many shows this last year. I did 225 in sales. I worked about 20 weekends or 20 shows, and I did that while getting a chance to run an office. Varying levels of success depending on the time of year, I'll confess, but whatever, got me to Hall of Fame this week, so we won't turn it down. Guys, I'm so excited to do this with you. I really am. And I was excited to do this even before I thought I was going to be working a single day at the rodeo. I'm excited to work it. Don't get me wrong. It's a badass event. It's the most attended event in the United States of America. Guys, this thing has literally 1.5 times the attendance the LA County Fair does. So, like, don't give those guys too much credit, okay? All they have on us is a head start, you know? That's for sure. So the reality is we have a chance to turn this into just a premier event, not just in the Southwest region, but nationwide. And all of you can really be on the front line of this, and we can build something really special together. At the end of the day, this is going to equal more sales for Gulf Coast, a better event for all of us to work, and just, I think, an amazing chemistry and an amazing group of people we're going to gather together from all over to really learn and grow from each other. So I'm sure some of you guys will have questions over the next few days. I want to let you know that I'm an open book in this capacity. We're all on the same team. And so, obviously all of you guys can reach out to Jonathan. He's your fearless leader. Nothing changes that. I'm just here to help run a really big show. That's it. My whole job is to come and help run a big show with you guys and some other cool people. Jonathan's your leader, so you can reach out to him. But at the same time, I want you to please feel free to reach out to me directly. My cell, if you want to text me or you don't have my number, it's 972-533-2433. And Jonathan, feel free to just throw that in the group me. It's a lot easier that way. So if anyone has questions, hit me up, hit Curtis up, because we're excited to hear from you. And we're really excited to connect on those calls and meetings. So please be on the lookout for those invitations going out this next week. Please let us know any questions that you have. And just please, when you get the videos and the training tools from us, take the opportunity to get a head start on your own preparation. I promise you it's only going to make you better. I haven't gone no knives, that's for sure. But they're just sort of there if I need them now. Like the things that I have been working on to really prepare for this event, and the things that I really got a chance to be a part of with y'all's preparation for the rodeo this last year. I think it's a very viable direction. I'm not taking my boards away if I don't have to, but I just don't need them in the same way. And I think in a lot of times, in a lot of scenarios, we're using it as a crutch, and we don't need to, because we're damn fine salespeople, and Cutco's just that good. And we're going to continue to just refine that process throughout this project. So, guys, that's all I got. Schmitty, I don't know if you have some thoughts you want to throw out, or if it's just maul o'clock and let people go sell some knives.
Mall o'clock is definitely a thing. That's for sure. No, I would, one, Brian, thank you for accepting the project and agreeing to come and help us run this thing this year. I think on my end, just speaking to the team as a whole right now, from day one, we've said that whenever we got in this thing that, we were going to seek help on it, because we all know the potential. If you've ever been inside that building, just watching traffic flow, it's on another planet. And for me, I want to give a huge thank you to Cody as well last year, because the reality is when we found out that we were in, we were given a huge price tag, a very short timeline to move this thing forward. So for all the things that went well or didn't go well last year, I was not in a place to move the project forward at the rate we did. And there's no guarantee we would have moved that for a year or two if it had been solely on my shoulders. So anything that's this major, when you start to see it from behind the scenes, I think our team maybe is not experienced, but maybe have as much exposure to an event of this magnitude and everything goes into running it. And on my end, I couldn't be more excited, just because, when you speak about it, the proverbial murderer's row of production and leadership on this one, it's pretty insane. So we have a really unique opportunity in front of us, and that's pretty fun. On that note, by the way, I forgot to throw out a little personal note here. We actually just broke $200,000 for the month of December as a team, which is exciting. The Woodlands is over 100 grand now. Which is cool. We got 4, 5, 6 biggest days and another week afterwards. And we are officially having our biggest week, our biggest and best year ever so far. So a large part of this is from the rodeo. So this will be, I'm excited to see how much further we can push it this next year.
That's awesome, guys. Well, congratulations to your whole team. And my God, $200K for the month. That's so beastly. and you still have like the biggest days ahead of you. That's amazing. I can't wait to see what y'all finish at.
That'll be fun. Well, thank you again for
Brian,
being part of it.
Yeah. What's that, Kathy?
I just wanted to say thank you. I'm super excited for you to help take the lead on this, and thank you for helping us figure things out to just get caught up. I know what it can be. I know the experience you have, and I'm excited that you're willing to partner up to help build this thing the right way. So thank you.
I appreciate it. It's going to be fun. All right, guys. Well, then please text us any questions that you have, and go sell some knives. You got some malls to work. Bye, guys. We'll see you soon.